Chef Leslie Newton. Welcome back to Lala Cooks. We took a little break to move, and now that we're settled into our new house, we're bringing you a new recipe perfect for springtime. Today we're going to make risotto, which is a dish that pretty much everyone loves, but people are afraid to make at home because they think it's too complicated. It's actually super easy, you just have to pay attention to it. You have to constantly stir the rice, so like the roux we made in episode 3 for the gumbo, your arm might get a little tired, but it's so worth it. We thought it would be perfect to add some spring vegetables to the risotto, so we're using asparagus and peas. We just planted our garden a couple weeks ago, and we're so excited to grow our own vegetables and use them in some of our favorite recipes. Until they start growing, now's a perfect time to visit the local farmers market. We're seeing more and more content in the media focusing on local and sustainable ingredients, and we hope that you're paying attention and doing your homework so you can make the best choices for you and your families and for the environment. I hope that you find that making risotto is something you can do anytime. It's so easy. Let's get started.
So the first thing we're going to do is blanch our asparagus. It's better to get that done first so you can get the rest of your mise en place set up. So once you start cooking the rice, you'll be good to go and won't have to stop for anything. You want to break the ends off the asparagus since they're very tough. If you just hold them on either end, they'll break naturally where they're supposed to. Get your pot of water boiling and have an ice bath ready to move them into once they're done. Drop them in the boiling water and cook for a couple minutes until they become bright green, and then move them into the cold water to stop them from cooking. Once they cool down, cut them into about 3 pieces each. You want smaller pieces so it's easier to eat in the risotto. Set these aside. Next, we want to chop the shallot, which will do exactly like you would chop an onion. You can use a smaller knife since shallots are small and make cuts horizontally and then vertically. When it comes to actually chopping the shallot, it's easier to do with a larger chef's knife. Set this aside as well, and we'll move on to the lemon zest. Use a microplane to zest the lemon. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal, but I'd suggest getting one because you can use citrus zest in so many things, and it's also good for ginger or even Parmesan cheese. Adding some acid or citrus really helps when you have a dish that's very rich. I learned this technique from a friend of mine. You just point the tip of the microplane down onto a plate or a piece of parchment or wax paper for easy cleanup, and then roll the lemon down across the microplane until you have all the sides, then go across the top as well. It's a very easy way of doing it. Now that we have everything measured and in place, we'll start the risotto. First, we want to sweat the shallots in olive oil and a little butter until they're translucent. I like to add a little salt here as well. Then we'll add in the rice and stir to coat in the butter and oil and toast it a little bit to bring out the nutty flavor. Next, we're going to add the wine. I'm using a dry white wine, and we'll let that cook out until it becomes completely dry. You want to use a dry white wine because it's more of a neutral flavor. You don't want a wine that has a strong fruity flavor, so go with a Chardonnay or something similar, and of course use something you drink. When that reduces down, we'll go ahead and add the vegetable stock, which is on the stove on low heat, using a ladle and adding about a cup at a time. Constantly stir the rice until it's completely soaked up the stock, and then add another ladle full. You're going to keep doing this for a while using 6 to 8 cups. You'll want to check the rice throughout to see if it's becoming tender. And when you feel that it's become tender and still a little bit al dente, stop adding the stock and add the cup of frozen peas and stir those in. Then add your asparagus as well as the lemon zest. We'll also add in the mascarpone here. You may want to taste as you go to see how much you want to add. You also want to taste for salt and add in more salt and some white pepper in here if you'd like. After you plate the risotto, you can add some chopped parsley or basil, whatever you prefer, as well as some Parmesan on top. So there you have it, a very easy spring vegetable risotto that's so easy to make. You can add anything you want in here. We love using wild mushrooms, and that's probably our favorite. Use your imagination. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/lalacooks, become a fan on Facebook at facebook.com/lalacooks, and like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/lalacooks. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more culinary adventures. Mangez bien.
Okay, you're recording.